Hello, Patriots. I'm Lee Watts, and this is Patriot Point, your source for Kentucky news and analysis from a conservative, Christian, and common sense point of view. And here on Patriot Point, we're all the time trying to do something positive, make a positive impact on things. And so do something positive this week. Why don't you be like that great Kentucky highway, I-64? Never stop working on yourself, no matter how inconvenient it is for everybody else. This week's edition of Patriot Point has a sponsor. So we're going to show you the commercial for our sponsoring product this week, and I hope you'll get a lot of it. From the makers of the popular Get Off My Lawn,
Get off my lawn,
comes a new product for today's busy conservative, Woke Be Gone. How often has this happened to you? You're standing on the street corner, pushing the button, minding your own business, when one of these woke people come up to you and says,
"Hi, I identify as a woman. How about we go to the bathroom together?"
This sounds like a job for Woke Be Gone. Hear them scream like the little girl they say they are.
Oh my God!
Order today and get your free taser for those times when you need a little something extra. Woke Be Gone is best applied directly to the eyes. Use it at school to keep those nasty woke kids away. Just aim and spray. Sometimes a second application is required. The next time you find yourself in a mostly peaceful protest, use the new Riot Cannon Woke Be Gone dispenser and get those nuts off of your driveway.
Oh, it hurts so bad!
Satisfaction guaranteed. Just aim for the face and spray. It's that easy. Ask your doctor if Woke Be Gone is right for you. Side effects include bouts of happiness and maniacal laughter as you send those commies back to California where they belong. Don't use Woke Be Gone if you're a liberal or think you might become a liberal, as it can cause immediate self-combustion. Woke Be Gone, not available at Target. A product of Patriot Point, a YouTube channel. Woke Be Gone, because sometimes Kyle Rittenhouse is out of town. Let's talk about what's going on in Kentucky news right now. Specifically, I want to talk about Senate Bill 150. During this past year, the Kentucky State Legislature passed Senate Bill 150 into law. Now, this is a wonderful conservative piece of legislation. What it did is it pushed back against this radical woke agenda that is infecting our nation and specifically targeting our schools. And the crowd that is pushing this is calling, oh no, what we're doing to the schools and to these children is what they call gender-affirming care. That's a nice name for what it really is, which is child mutilation. Part of this gender-affirming care includes cutting the breast off little girls, the genitals off little boys, pumping them full of injections where the girls get testosterone injections and where the boys get estrogen injections, making sure that they get puberty blockers to stop the natural progression of their bodies. This is just simply child mutilation, and they've put this fancy word on it, called it gender-affirming care. Nothing could be farther from the truth. So thank the dear Lord, the Kentucky State Legislature said, we're going to stop this kind of stuff. We're going to stop then pushing to change your gender identity, your sexual orientation. They made it illegal where the schools have to do these things, force the teachers to do it, and prevent the parents from knowing what's going on. So the legislature stepped up and made this a law. However, during this past week, the Kentucky Department of Education has come out with guidance telling the schools just ignore the law, specific guidance to disregard the law and to go ahead with pushing the radical leftist woke agenda in the schools to your children. They're going to go ahead and do the altering gender identity, alter gender expression, altering your gender orientation, all of those things, specific guidance to just disregard the law. I have a little message for the Kentucky public schools. The kids do not belong to you, all right? They belong to us, the parents, and they do not belong to you. So what is going to be the solution for this? We've got the schools now saying we're going to violate the law. And this is some of the problem. I spoke to some of the legislators about this earlier this year when they were debating this law. I said there's no consequences if they violate it. And if there's no consequences, they're just going to violate it left and right. So what is the solution? Some people say, well, cut funding from schools. Well, while you would punish the school, we would also be punishing the students by cutting funding specifically to the schools. So here's the solution for this, Kentucky, and it's something that you can actually help do something about it. Kentucky right now has some laws regarding charter schools. They need to be strengthened. A charter school is a public school, but it's run by a private organization. And if we could have these, not only are fully private schools, but also charter schools where the money follows the student. And these private schools or private charter schools, which are public schools ran privately, if they were the ones that say, we're not going to push this woke garbage, we're not going to try to indoctrinate your kid, we're not going to let a bunch of people in drag who are craving children to be around be allowed to read to your kids. If we were to do that, then it would be taking the money away from the woke leftist pushing agenda bad players in the schools and still providing it to the children. The way to impact these people is to hit them in the wallet. So what we need is for the Kentucky State Legislature to really strengthen the charter school law that's on the book now and write some bills this summer that would say, listen, we're going to write some bills that'll come up for a vote next year where the money is going to follow the student. And as far as homeschoolers go, I'm very strong in the homeschool community. We homeschooled our children. And so there would be some bad players where if you say the money follows the student and it went to the homeschool family, there would doubtless be some bad players that would abuse that. So here's the way to get around that problem. Simply give the homeschoolers tax breaks for not having to send their kids to school. So they're not getting money from the state, but they're not having to pay money to this state either. And a lot of those who would be bad players are probably in the crowd that aren't paying taxes anyway. So let's strengthen those charter schools bill. Let's send the money with the student to private schools or charter schools. That'll take the money away from this leftist woke crowd, will still help the students, and we're going to get a better Kentucky public education system at the whole end of the day. So what I need you to do right now for the sake of Kentucky and for our nation really is I need to contact your representative or senator up there at the Kentucky State Capitol and say, listen, we want you to write a bill that would have the money follow the student and strengthen the charter school bill. Because right now, you got to have the regular public schools approve to put a charter school in, and that's never going to work. So these things need to be done. You can contact your senator or representative with calling them at 1-800-372-7181. That's the message center for the Kentucky State Capitol. It's open weekdays during normal business hours. If you'd like that number again, just rewind the video. Okay, so this is what we can do to actually make a difference. Now, next year is going to be election year for everybody in the Kentucky House of Representatives and half of them in the Kentucky State Senate. This is a time when they will be closely listening to we the people. And for any legislators who are watching the program, this is an opportunity for you to step up and to be a hero. Kentucky desperately needs some heroes up there because here's the problem. If the state legislature passes this great law or any great law that we really like, and yet the woke left crowd is allowed to just disregard it without any consequences, then it just makes it makes no difference in what law you pass. So there's got to be consequences for them breaking this. This is a way to fix Kentucky public schools right away. So that's what we have for you this week on the program. Something that's going on, an update, and what you can do about it with a real-world, common-sense solution. So until next week, I'm Lee Watts for Patriot Point, reminding you that liberty is not a spectator sport.